what an episode it was. The finale of Solo Leveling Season 2 just dropped, and it absolutely delivered. From insane power-ups to emotional farewells, this was the moment we've been waiting for. But it's not just the end of a season, it's the start of something much bigger. Let's break it all down. From Jin Woo hitting level 100 to Beru's resurrection, to what this finale means for the future of solo leveling. And yes, we're talking Solo Leveling Ragnarok 2. Let's go. I watched the final episode this morning, and wow, Season 2 went out with a bang. But here's the bad news. The anime's officially going on pause. That's right, Season 3 isn't coming immediately, and we'll need to wait a bit. More on that later. For now, let's dive into the episode because the final chapter of the Jeju Island arc hit hard, emotionally and visually. Let's start with Cha Hai In. We all saw it coming, but it still hit deep. Jin Woo resurrects Min Byung-gyu as a shadow, just so he can save her life. That moment, the intensity, the loyalty, the desperation, you could feel everything, and here's what I appreciated. Solo Leveling finally gave some emotional depth to a side character. We got to see a full-circle moment with Baek Yoon-ho reflecting on his fallen comrade, honoring a last wish, and letting go. It was subtle, it was powerful, and honestly, it was needed, because let's be real. Solo Leveling has always been a one-man show. Jin Woo does everything. Everyone else just survives. So when the anime gives someone else a real arc, even a small one, it deserves credit. Meanwhile, the Japanese hunters? Yeah, they're not too happy. Their plan failed. Their strongest hunter, Goto Ryuji, was humiliated. And Solo Leveling doesn't hold back on painting Japan's guilds in a shady light. Honestly, some fans might find that portrayal a bit much, but it sets up tension for future arcs, and it works narratively. We even got quick glimpses of new characters, possibly national-level hunters and monarchs in disguise. If you've read the manhwa, you probably recognized a few faces. If not, just know that things are about to get wild. Now let's talk about the big moment. Jin Woo reaches level 100, and with that, he gets a new shadow. Beru. Yes, the Ant King is now under Jin Woo's command. But here's what's crazy. Unlike the other shadows, Beru can talk. He remembers who he was. He understands what he lost. And now he calls Jin Woo Master. Willingly? This opens up a huge question. Are the shadows just mindless soldiers, or can they think, feel, disobey? Beru's rebirth hints at something deeper. A shadow with a personality, and trust me, this will matter in the future. Let's talk visuals. Because this finale looked amazing, from the glowing aura to the resurrected army. Jin Woo standing at the gate surrounded by Igris, Beru, Iron Tusk, the High Orcs, and even the dragon. It felt like something out of a movie. The red gate scene, straight goosebumps. It was epic, cinematic, and the perfect send-off. But before we jump into Season 3 and what's coming next, let's take a moment to talk more about what made Season 2 so impactful and how the finale set up what's to come. Because this finale wasn't just set up, it was packed with moments that will define the entire future of the series. In this finale, we finally got a glimpse of two new monarchs, the Frost Monarch and the Beast Monarch. These two weren't just passing villains, they're major players in the war that's coming. And they weren't watching Jin Woo out of curiosity. They were worried. Why would someone with power like theirs fight for humans? The Monarchs sensed something in Jin Woo, something dangerous. It wasn't just presence, it was a signal that his strength had reached a level even they couldn't ignore. The war isn't coming, it's already begun. And lurking in the background, watching from the shadows, was Jin Woo's father. Yes, Sung Il-Hwan was on Jeju Island too, observing the monarchs in silence. It was brief, but it changed everything. He knows what they are. And more importantly, he's not done yet. The Frost Monarch and Beast Monarch didn't fight this time. But their appearance, it was a warning. A storm is coming. The pieces are in place. The war has been set in motion. If you want to know exactly what's coming in Season 3, make sure to subscribe and hit like to show your support, because now we begin the breakdown of the key events that will shape Solo Leveling Season 3. Let's dive in. Let's begin with the first major arc of Season 3, the recruitment arc. After the Jeju Island raid, the world finally realizes what Korea already knows. Jin Woo is on a completely different level. Countries around the world start paying attention. But Jin Woo, he's got something else in mind. He doesn't want to be someone else's weapon. He wants independence. And to do that, he creates his own guild, the Ajin Guild. And guess who decides to join him? Cha Hai-in. But there's a catch. Jin Woo won't just let anyone in, even her. To prove herself, Cha Hai-in has to take on one of his shadows. Not just any shadow. Igris, the Red Knight, the fan favorite, the warrior of elegance and pride. And the fight? It's intense. Cha Hai-in holds her own, moves with grace, and, in a flash, she defeats Igris. But she isn't satisfied. She looks Jin Woo in the eyes and says, "That's not the strongest one you've got. Bring out the monster you're hiding." And so Jin Woo calls forth Baru, the former Ant King. Now a shadow. And what happens next? Baru destroys her. He overwhelms Cha Hai-in in seconds. No hesitation. No mercy. He's about to land a killing blow when suddenly Jin Woo steps in. He stops the fight just in time. And in that moment, we see it. Baru is different, stronger, smarter, more dangerous. And he listens only to Jin Woo. This fight sets the tone. For everything to come, it shows just how powerful Jin Woo's shadows have become, and how careful he must be when unleashing them. But just as things start to settle within the Ajin Guild, a new storm is already brewing. Hwang Dong-soo, the brother of the S-rank hunter Jin Woo, killed back in dungeon. And now, he wants revenge. Dong-soo comes to Korea, but not just to investigate. He wants blood. He wants to make Jin Woo suffer, and he's not coming alone. He teams up with S-rank American agents, dragging Korea into the crosshairs of the Scavenger Guild, one of the most powerful guilds in the world. But Dong-soo makes a fatal mistake. He targets Yoo Jin-ho, Jin Woo's best friend, the only person he truly trusts. Dong-soo kidnaps Jin-ho and tortures him. But what he doesn't know is, Jin Woo always leaves a shadow. One of Jin Woo's scouts was watching, waiting. And the moment Jin-ho screams, Sung Jin-woo appears. No hesitation, no buildup. He teleports into the warehouse like death itself. Dong-soo barely has time to react. And Jin Woo snaps. The fight isn't flashy. It isn't drawn out. It's brutal, one-sided, personal, blow after blow, strike after strike. Dong-soo tries to talk, to explain, to beg. But Jin Woo isn't listening. This isn't about justice. It's about protecting the only person who's always stood beside him. And when it's over, Dong-soo is dead. The Scavenger Guild is shaken, and America starts to fear Jin Woo because they realize something terrifying. He's not just Korea's strongest hunter. He's not just a national threat. He's becoming something more. Now moving into Season 3, we're not just getting monarchs. We're not just getting secret wars. We're getting Thomas Andre, the strongest hunter in the world, an American powerhouse, the man they call Goliath. And when Dong-soo dies, Thomas takes it personally, not because he cared about Dong-soo, but because a top member of his guild was taken down in another country by just one man. Sung Jin-woo and the world, they were watching. So Thomas flies to Korea, not to negotiate, not to ask questions, but to send a message. At first, it's just tension. Two apex predators, face to face. No trust, no backup, no fear. And then they clash. Thomas Andre versus Sung Jin-woo. Brute force versus deadly precision. A monster versus a monarch in the making. The fight is massive, brutal, destructive. Buildings collapse. Streets explode. And the world watches, terrified. But in the end, Jin Woo wins. He doesn't kill Thomas. He doesn't have to. Because Thomas? He respects power. And Jin Woo, he just proved he's the real deal. In one of the most powerful scenes to come, Thomas kneels. And as a sign of respect, he offers something legendary. Kamish's wrath. A pair of daggers forged from the fang of the most powerful beast to ever walk the earth. That moment, it changes everything. It's not about nations anymore. It's not about guilds. It's about who's ready for what's coming. Because after that battle, Thomas Andre joins Jin Woo's side. And Season 3? It won't be about survival. It'll be about war. Alliances will be tested, secrets revealed, and Jin Woo will have to decide who stands with him. In the next season, we go back to where it all started, the place that nearly killed Jin Woo, the dungeon that changed everything, the double dungeon arc. That cursed place, the one that nearly killed him, the one that awakened the Shadow Monarch within. But this time, he's not the hunted. He's the one knocking on the gate. The system calls him back. A quest with no details, no timer, no escape, and when Jin Woo enters, he's alone. No shadows, no allies, no second chances, just him and the truth. Inside, he faces something more terrifying than any beast. The architect, the one who created the system, the one who's been watching him since day one. And what Jin Woo learns inside that dungeon will finally reveal the truth behind his powers and his purpose. We'll be breaking it all down, step by step. So if you want to know the full truth behind the system, the architect, and what's coming next, hit that subscribe button, because this story is just getting started.